Hello, Squirrel Tribe. Today is Monday. It is August 26th, and today is the 3-year anniversary of the withdrawal of our troops from Afghanistan. But more importantly, it is the anniversary of the death of 13 American soldiers during the withdrawal from Afghanistan. And I want to show you here that you have Donald Trump. He went to Arlington Cemetery to honor the 13 that were killed in the withdrawal from Afghanistan, and he stayed there for the entire time that the soldiers' families were there. It says Trump was joined by family members of some of the 13 U.S. soldiers who were killed in a bombing at Abbey Gate during the withdrawal for a wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The former president descended the steps alongside family members to lay a wreath, listened to taps, then returned to the top of the steps and repeated the process twice more for others being honored on Monday. Now, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, from what I have seen, did not show up. They both let statements out, basically saying they were sorry about everything that happened, not taking any responsibility for it, but acknowledging what today was. But Donald Trump himself visited Arlington Cemetery to mark the Afghanistan withdrawal anniversary, and I think that says an absolute lot about the man personally. I'm a big fan of what he has done for those people today. Now, on top of all of that, Kamala Harris, y'all, she just got called out by ABC, the same one who will be doing the debate on September 10th between her and Donald Trump, the same one where her bestie works, the bestie that got her and her husband Doug Emhoff together, set them up or whatever else. She will be the moderator as far as I know. And ABC themselves, you would think, would be riding Kamala Harris' coattails, just besties, and do everything they can to make her look as amazing as possible. But even ABC is calling Kamala Harris out for using video of President Trump's border wall in her new ads. If even ABC is calling her out on her hypocrisy, you guys know it's really, really bad. So let me see if I can get this up and get this to play for you so you can hear exactly what happened. It's only 17 seconds long, but it's worth listening to because it is a big deal.
And one thing that I found striking is if you look, and I think we have the images here, there are at least 3 points in that ad that show the border wall, Donald Trump's border wall. Is it now the position of the Democrats that they favored the border wall?
Really? She has an ad out about the border, and she wants to, here's another clip of Donald Trump at Arlington Cemetery today. Again, you do not see President Joe Biden. You do not see Vice President Kamala Harris running for President. Kamala Harris not there. Donald Trump, however, is. But anyway, back to the border wall. It's very interesting to me that the same woman who has for her entire career wanted there to be illegal immigration, which we have receipts for that I believe I have for you this morning. If not, I have it for you this afternoon. It's interesting that now she's running her campaign on closing the border, on making it safe, and she's using images of the border wall that Donald Trump started while he was in office. The same border wall that her and Joe Biden crapped all over them for having, and saying that it was a racist move and that it was, what was the word that she used? I can't remember the word that she used, but basically they talk crap about it. And now here she is putting it in her ads. I find that to be hypocrisy at its finest. Now, I have been asking this for weeks, and I'm sure you guys have as well. Biden just left his week-long vacation in Santa Ynez, I think that's how you say it, Y-N-E-Z, in California for Dover, Delaware, where he'll be. Yeah, I'm having a really hard time talking today. I get a date lunch with my husband today, and I'm really excited. I'm wearing a dress and everything. Like, I put on lipstick. I don't really do makeup like that, but I'm super excited. So anyway, that's not the point to any of this. So I'm sorry, let's get back to where we were. Biden just left his week-long vacation in Santa Ynez, California for Dover, Delaware, where he'll head to Rehoboth Beach for a 9-day vacation. Since stating that he was dropping out of the race 34 days ago, mind you, over a month ago, he has spent just 6 days at the White House. Who is running our country? Who is running the United States of America? Because Kamala Harris, as vice president, isn't hanging out in the White House. She's on a campaign trail using taxpayer money to get her from point A to point B by using the vice presidential airplane, which is, in and of itself should be red flags for a lot of people. But for some reason, people are glossing over that part. But who is running our country? Biden, he's not doing anything that he should be doing. He is still president. Just because he took his name off of the ballot for the nomination for sitting president for next term does not stop his duties right now until January 6th or January 20th. I know January 6th is when the new one gets sworn in. I think January 20th is when like the exchange of power actually takes place. But he is still sitting president, yet he is doing nothing. I mean, there goes the plane taking off with Biden on it, just, you know, bopping around from coast to coast and doing absolutely nothing presidential during his time, the last few months of his presidency. That bothers me. It bothers me that when he gave up his position on the ballot, he basically gave up his job, but we don't know who he gave it up to, because again, it's not Kamala pulling the strings right now. It's not him. So is Obama sitting in the White House and nobody knows about it? Who is doing what in the White House right now? Kamala Harris is on the campaign trail and even at the DNC talking about how they want to do a ceasefire. They're trying to get this ceasefire put together. Real hard to do when the president's not presidenting, right? Just a random thought I'd like to share with people. And this is what scares Democrats, okay? I know a lot of stuff scares Democrats, like family and religion and morality and common sense and stuff like that. But there's other things that scare them as well, because they know that this is what America needs. This is what scares them. This is from Nick Sorter over on X, and it's brand new. President Trump says he's looking to put both Elon Musk and RFK Jr. in his cabinet when elected. This is the deep state's worst nightmare. I fully agree with that too. Trump says he'd put Elon Musk in charge of cutting the fat out of the government, and RFK Jr. would be in charge of making America healthy again. I think you're supposed to say it like Maha or Maha. I don't know what accent you're supposed to put with it. I mean, in theory, if it's MAGA, it should be Maha, but that just sounds real stupid. So we're going to say it out every time. Make America healthy again. This administration will be absolutely legendary. And I want you to hear what Donald Trump has to say here. It's a few minutes long, but it's totally worth the listen. You guys ready?
I read that Elon Musk said that he would accept a position in your cabinet. Would that have to do with artificial intelligence?
So Elon and I have a great relationship. He's great. He is a totally unusual character. Do you know Elon?
I don't.
He's great. And he's smart. And we have to cherish our geniuses. You know, we don't have too many of them, right? But he is a brilliant guy. And what he really would like to do is get involved in cutting some of the fat. And he does know how to do it. And he loves the country. You know, it's just an amazing thing. We had a conversation the other day. You would know better than me, but I hear it had hundreds of millions of people. I heard it had the biggest audience that there's ever been. I mean, would you say that's a correct statement?
I would absolutely say
there's
that's
never been
correct.
anything even close. I heard 750 million people. I mean, numbers that are crazy. And yeah, he wants to be involved. Now, look, he's running big businesses and all that, so he can't really, I don't think he'd be for cabinet. I'd put him in the cabinet, absolutely, but I don't know how he could do that with all the things he's got going. But he can sort of, as the expression goes, consult with the country and give you some very good ideas. Like on AI, there's nobody knows more about it than Elon.
Very true.
It's a big, big thing. And he said it's very important. I mean, it's very important for the country. If we don't do it, China's going to do it. Or somebody else, but most likely China.
Very true.
And China is working right now to develop massive electricity, a flood of electricity, a massive flood of electricity. And we don't, because we have people that they're not even thinking about that.
Yeah.
And we have to win this election. This election is going, November 5th will be the most important day, my opinion, in the history of our country. Because if our country goes the wrong way with this election, I think this country is doomed.
And I agree 100% with that. Now, he didn't mention, RFK like I thought he would, but I agree 100% that this election is a huge deal, that it is going to be the make or break of the country based off of the absolute polarizing difference between the two candidates, between the two sides, between what each person and party want for the country in general. It is a stark difference, day and night kind of difference. And I do fully believe that this November 5th election is going to be a hallelujah or a oh shit kind of moment, depending on who wins and which way everything goes. Now, this is excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. I expected better of Texas, But this is a Democrat thing, so I guess it doesn't matter where it is, but I did expect better of Texas from this. A Democrat political operative in San Antonio had his home raided by the Texas Attorney General's Election Integrity Unit in a voter fraud investigation. So, get this. Investigators found 65 mobile phones and 41 computers, digital and other storage devices at the home of Manuel Medina. He is chief of staff for San Antonio Democratic State Representative Liz Campos and former chair of the Bexar County Democratic Party. I mean, I've heard of having like a burner phone or like a side phone, but 65 of them? That doesn't look too good, sir. Just so we're all fully aware. According to this, during the early morning hours of August 20th, 2024, so just 6 days ago, law enforcement officers and agents of the Texas Attorney General forcibly entered the Medina family residence, awakening the occupants, which included Movant, his wife, and 2 young daughters, pursuant to a search warrant issued by this honorable court the day before. There's a search warrant that was dated August 19th. And the 2 young daughters, ages 12 and 15, were allowed to get dressed, but only in the presence of female officers, which is a plus. That is what scares me the most. It's not that for when things like this happen, no matter how right or wrong it is, depending on the situation, you know what I mean? It's always that there's kids in the homes that worries me, that bothers me, because that's traumatizing. But at the same time, if your parents weren't shitty humans, you wouldn't really have to deal with this. So for approximately 7 hours, officers rummaged through the residence, searching through the living spaces, closets, kitchen, bathrooms, garage, and bedrooms of Movant, his wife, and his 2 young daughters. Can you imagine if they had everything stashed in their kids' rooms? Oh, super shitty parents. Authorities seized numerous papers, documents, family, and other photographs, as well as almost 65 cell phones and some 41 computers, digital and other storage devices. And then that's all I got for right there. But this is him, for those who are curious, the one in the blue tie. That is the man whose house got raided and whose 12 and 15-year-old children are now going to be traumatized for the rest of their life because of the underhanded, deceitful things their father has done in order to rig elections, which we're not allowed to say on YouTube, but we said it anyway. It is what it is. Now, listen to this. I want you to listen to this. This is from Gunther Eagleman, okay? And he posted this up on X. And he says, don't forget when they tell you what they plan to do, okay? Very important. A lot of times people will tell you to your face, hiccup, exactly what they plan to do, exactly who they are. And a lot of times people, for some reason, don't hear it, don't listen to it, or think that it's a joke or whatever else. But Jamie Ratskin said he and the Democrats plan to use the 14th Amendment to prevent Donald Trump from taking office when he wins the election. Why is the FBI not investigating this man right here, right? So then you look a little farther and you have specifically what he said. If I can get this to pause so you can hear it. Let me pull this up so you guys can hear exactly what this man has said. Wait, turn. Okay.
Very quickly, and the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, they want to kick it to Congress, so it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025, to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified, and then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job and interpret what the great 14th Amendment means. And I'm glad that Sherilyn's creating her new center so we can bring that.
So here's the thing. A lot of people are asking themselves, okay, so exactly what is the 14th Amendment? Exactly what does this mean? So the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution was ratified 1868. It extended the rights and liberties to formerly enslaved people. That's what the 14th Amendment is, right? It's all people born or naturalized in the United States are citizens. No state can deprive anyone of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. No state can deny equal protection of the laws to anyone within its jurisdiction. The government can punish states that abridge citizens' rights to vote. All right, that's the 14th Amendment. But they're talking about Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which prohibits former government officials from holding public office again if they have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the United States government. And so they are trying to say that Donald Trump has engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the United States government. They're trying to pin what happened in January 6th in 2021 on Donald Trump and say it was because of him and that it's his fault. And so they're trying to use that to then, if he were to win the presidency, to say he can't hold office. Let me tell you how this is an absolute pile of horse shit. Horses, because Tim Walz loves horses. So of course we got to go with those. The entire thing is horseshit, because if this was true, he would not have been legally allowed on the ballot to begin with. They would not have let him be the presidential candidate for the Republicans if they were really able to use the 14th Amendment Section 3 to go after him, because they knew all these things that they were going to try to do ahead of time. Nothing has changed since Donald Trump decided to run for president again, since Donald Trump made it onto the ballot, since Donald Trump at the RNC. None of these things have changed. So for them to try to come out now and go 14th Amendment Section 3, gonna use it, that's absolute bullshit, because if people really wanted to start using things, they could go after Kamala Harris for numerous things as well. We all know exactly what I'm talking about. The issue here is that there are enough people in power who don't follow rules, who don't abide by the Constitution, who do not abide by the actual laws, and they find ways to go after people. And they could easily go after Donald Trump, but I do not legally, constitutionally see how they could take him out of office if he were to win, when he wins. Let's be real honest about this. So the fact that they are still trying to push this, it's pretty shitty. It also tells me that they are terrified that he is going to win, because then they lose power. They lose power. Donald Trump wins. Of course, we still need the House and the Senate to go more Republican, more red versus blue, but that will happen over time, right? And that is what they are scared of, because the Democrats, they pull the strings, they hold the money for all these big corporations and all this underground, underhand shit that goes on. So of course they need to stay in power. But too many Americans, too many people are waking up and going, this is not the country that I want to live in. This is not the country I grew up in. This is not the country I want my children to grow up in, or my grandchildren, heaven forbid, under this rule of these psychos that want it to be that all boys and girls are interchangeable, that anybody can do anything they want to each other, that nobody has any ability to feel safe in this country anymore. It is absolutely crazy to me that we are this close to November 5th, and they are still trying to pull this bullshit. Now, this is the last thing I'm going to mention to you. Kamala Harris is talking about putting caps on companies' profits, which, I mean, that in and of itself should make every company turn their backs on her and not want to have anything to do with her as a presidential nominee. That should be what shoots herself in the foot on winning the presidency, just from corporations alone, right? But these are the top 10 companies in the United States that have the highest profit margin. And it's not food companies. And that's what she wants to go after. She's talking about capping the price on food. She's going after the thought that people won't understand that, yes, food inflation has been absolutely ridiculous. But generally speaking, food manufacturers are not the ones who are raking in hand over fist profit. Here are the ones that are: Visa, MasterCard, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, Google, Pfizer, Adobe, Intuitive Surgical, and T-Mobile. If you want to talk about price gouging, why don't you start with those? That's the question. It's not the food, although the prices are ridiculous there, but it starts at the bottom and works its way up. It doesn't start with the farmers, all right? Well, technically, I guess they'd be the bottom. It doesn't start with the farmers. It works its way up in management or whatever. But the problem is, you have Visa and MasterCard. They are the top profit margins because of the fact that our prices are where they are right now, and so many people are having to turn to their credit cards in order to afford to live, to eat, to breathe, to have a home, to have a car, anything. And Visa and MasterCard, they're charging interest rates that are absolutely friggin' ridiculous. You get an over limit fee, you get an overdraft fee, you get a late payment fee, you get all this, and they are basically, they're killing the American citizens with all of the profit that they are making. It's very easy to say, don't use your credit cards. That way they can't be, price gouging everybody, but it's also very difficult for a lot of people right now with where our economy is, with the price of literally everything. So I understand why people use their credit cards, but I also understand that companies are heartless, soulless demons, and they don't care why you use your credit cards. All they see is money going into their pocket. So if Kamala Harris really wants to do any damn thing once she wins, if that's what she thinks is going to happen, she should be going after these 10, not the food farmers and things like that. So y'all, I'll have way more later, but it's time for me to go on my little date lunch with my husband. So I'm excited about that. I love you guys. I hope you have a fabulous start to your Monday, and I'll see you again later. Bye.